Good evening, welcome everyone to the Watchers Brawl. We are here with match number 4 of edition number 6. I am Man of Class and I'm joined by the wonderful Sir Waltham. Sir Waltham, have you enjoyed your break? Because we just had a relatively, eventful match.
Yeah, that was a eventful is one way to put it for sure, but I did enjoy my 25-minute break. I grabbed something to drink. I put away some dishes, and then I'm right back here ready to cast this next one.
Yeah, and obviously you got to be ready for this one because it's another one coming in. We got Perfection versus the Mean Green, and that sounds like a very opposite thing. Obviously you don't see mean green people being very perfectionist. If we take the Hulk reference, then the perfectionists on the other side are gonna be like, yeah, I know, a little bit more elegant about it, but maybe their playstyles are very different. We don't know. Sometimes the names match it, sometimes they don't. To tell us a little bit more about the Mean Green, at least, we do have Products here, who is their proclaimed coach. So, Products, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good, man. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear. Mean Green, that name, I don't know if you're one of the instigators of that, but do you sometimes feel a little bit problematic, or at least a little bit sad that you cannot actually play in green?
I mean, not really, no. I mean, we're all just mean. We really enjoy green, the color green.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is a nice color. I actually enjoy the color a lot myself, but yeah, I'm always a little bit jealous when I see those contenders teams. They kept playing green and white, and I'm like, yeah, why can't we change our colors? That would be so much nicer. But hey, can't always get what you want. As to the actual Overwatch, though, because that's where we actually want to talk about mostly with you. You have some players going on. I understand you have a little bit of a sub today, which sometimes happens. Do you feel like you're prepared going into this tournament?
I think we're pretty good. We have a decent bit of LAN experience around the Dallas area, and we're glad to be out here. We know there's a lot of pretty tough competition. We're just hoping to have a good showing.
Yeah, and of course, LAN a little bit different than online. Not a lot of ping issues there, but we have been running into some earlier tonight, so hoping that won't happen again. But right now, I mean, you got to play against Perfection. Perfection is a hard thing to beat and a hard thing to strive for, but they apparently think they've got it. Is there something that you feel like really defines your team, other than everyone loving the color green?
We know each other in real life. We're all pretty close friends, so I think through the power of friendship.
Okay, well that's something you don't often hear. That's really nice to hear. No, I'm not saying that people hate each other all the time, but like a lot of times, yeah, we get along or this or that. But if you're actually like real life friends, you've met each other through that LAN experience helps as well. That can really help, in communication and understanding things and improving. Do you feel that it sometimes also can be problematic that you're all such good friends?
I think we all keep each other in check. It's pretty helpful. Like if someone keeps making the same mistake or they step out of line a little bit, like because we're all friends, we can like step in and say like, hey, this isn't good. Should not be doing this. This is like, work on this. And we all we all have similar goals as far as Overwatch. Yeah. So it's like really just pushing each other to improve.
That's really nice. I suppose not just a friendship, but also like the mutual respect from everyone. That really helps. You say like you all have similar goals. Is there something that do you like really want to get as far with those goals as a team, or are you at some point also sort of accepting that split's gonna happen?
Well, I mean, most of us are college students, so I assume whenever we go on to different things, we'll be all pursuing different goals. But hopefully, at least in the time that we have, we can advance as far as possible as a team.
Okay, yeah, stay in the moment. I think that's the good thing to go for there, indeed. You've been going into this coaching role. That's not been that long ago that you started doing that. How are you enjoying it so far? Are you missing being a player at all?
Being a player was a lot of fun, but it's just really hard to balance that with school a lot of the time. So I ultimately decided that it was more important to focus on that. I still enjoy like learning about the game at a high level. I enjoy watching high level. I enjoy seeing players grow. And even while I was playing on a team, I was still doing a little bit of coaching on the side. So it was not too much of a transition for me, just less heavy on the playing end.
Yeah. I mean, as a caster, I can obviously understand where you're coming from. I just don't want to play, but I like the game a lot. So that's my angle. But I definitely wanna thank you for coming in here. If there are any like pre-match shoutouts you want to do, definitely go for it. You got the floor.
Mean Green, woo! I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you got to come up with a better chant next time, but hopefully you'll get that chance. Because
I wasn't prepared.
That's fine. That's always good to hear. But again, thank you for the chat. Go watch your team. Hopefully kick ass, at least for you. And we're gonna get into this game now, Walton.
Yeah, we definitely are. Of course, our first map gonna be Lijiang Tower, and you know, we talked about it a little bit last series, but we can see quite a bit come out of this map here, with the 3 sub maps all playing a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's exactly what Lijiang Tower. Why it's often such a popular map, right? Because it's just you don't always have to play the same thing. You can strategize a little bit differently, and it's a very diverse point, which is why teams both enjoy it. Sometimes loathe it a little bit, but I guess it's a very popular map for that reason. It has that very balanced aspect to it, where no matter what type of team you are, there will always be 1 or 2 points that function with you.
Yeah, and the first sub map we're gonna be taking it on, the first point, excuse me, it's gonna be Gardens. So a little bit more DPS friendly, but we kind of had this joke last series, and curious if it will retain to this one, where we're probably gonna see a triple and then a DPS comp, or something along the lines where there's 2 teams, they don't match, they go back to spawn and they come out magic. It's like a magic trick.
Yeah. It's always fun to see. I've been watching a lot of Magic lately. It's really fun to watch if you're into that at all. It's really fascinating. You're always like, oh, how do they do it? And it's a little bit easier here because we know to just press the H key. But yeah, they sometimes when you make something disappear, it can be very magical. So I'm hoping to see some magic being recreated here.
Yeah, the difference is it's a magic H key. Ooh. But that
we have magic and we have magic 8-ball here in the game,
true.
So some magic at least is there.
Gonna help us believe in the magic here. But looking on to what we do know, the more Gnostic world, I guess we're gonna be seeing. Looks like the triple coming out from Mean Green
from both sides.
Yeah, it's gonna be consistent here. This isn't normal.
Oh, there's no swaps. They're both going to White Room, obviously expecting a possible DPS comp to come out. It's going to clash in here. We do see Mean Green making there a little bit sooner, so they're going to be able to help this choke out. Just a little bit of damage coming back and forth, and now they're going to try and get in there. Perfection just steaming going through there, trying to get those kills. But are they going to be a little bit over aggressive? It doesn't seem that way so far. But Agodogo actually going to be taken down fairly low and just gets taken out straight away. BG1 going very low, but actually Magic 8-ball being able to pull that back, taking out the other Reinhardt. So both teams in equal numbers, is same heroes online right now. But it's just Magic 8-ball trying to boop everyone aside, doing a very good job on that Lucio, just being a pain and a thorn in the side almost. And yeah, now the Reinhardt's back from the other side, gonna get a huge header down from Agodogo, and then Big Brain taking down Executor out of the Mac. Nothing else following until McDaniels gets down as well. But it's just a very back and forth fight all the while. Meanwhile, the percentage just keeps ticking up here for Mean Green. So they're gonna lose this fight eventually, but not before they accrued quite a little bit of a percentage here.
Yeah, really, a lot of times you talk about, oh, well, this team, gave up a few percentage points just to get the proper positioning. But in this case, it did not seem to be the play here for Perfection. They are giving up almost 50% point progress before they actually get it flipped over. And that's going to be expensive. Luckily, they do have a few ultimates to work on. They're going to be having 5. Everybody but Magic 8-ball going to be having theirs. And you look at the other side of the board, it's pretty close. But Joe and Samston not going to be having theirs online, meaning it's going to probably be about a 4 to 5 if you're looking here. And they're going to be taking the inside swing once again.
Yeah, Relly and the Grab's coming out, and the other Grab gets eaten. Actually, Fierce Surge not getting out that Grab. Nice shatter once again from Agodogo, and a nice bomb to follow it up. Only gets McDaniels, but they already lost enough here on the red side. So Mean Green gonna have to go back to the drawing board, and still not really even in ultimate.
Yeah, that was some really good play coming through from the side of Perfection. You saw the The Grav come out, held everybody into place. For some reason, saw Samson's shield drop. I don't know if it was broken or just perhaps out of position. But then the Earth Shatter comes out from Agadogo, and it just knocks everybody down. The Diva Bomb to follow up lands right in front of Samson, which means he can't get between it and the team. They end up losing members because of it, and that's really the kind of the kills you need to see when you have that ult investment.
Yeah, we do have the Shadow Hero around from Samson, so maybe you can finally hit one, but Agadogo has been so on point with those. Now we get the bomb coming out, not getting anything to try to split up the team a little bit. Didn't go in their favor, but a nice Shadow from Samson. This should really get some kills out of them. It should get some value. Do get the mech, but Samson goes down for it. So they really got to find some more value. Otherwise, this fight is just not going to go their way. And it does seem that they just keep losing member and then mech and then another member. So this, once again, a fight going into the favor of Perfection. And that is heartbreaking to watch because that was such a beautiful shatter from Samson.
Yeah, it was good in execution. It was good in positioning. The timing was a little rough though, because right at the moment that the shadow hit, Magic Mate Ball hit that sound barrier, meaning that it takes just a little bit longer to kill members who had been knocked down. That's a tough spot to be in when you need that focus fire to come through, and it just doesn't.
And now the shatter once again from Agadogo has been hitting so many good ones. Immediately Samson gone. The Transcendence not be able to save it. Magic Mate Ball gets another boop kill, and that's just a clean sweep. That's what we call a perfect team wipe there.
Yeah, that is looking clean and good for Perfection. They didn't quite get the perfect score, given that they gave it up a little bit to the side of Mean Green in the beginning, but they're still going to be walking away with the round point. They're not going to be feeling too bad about that.
Yeah, and we're going to go into Control Center here. Control Center, that's like the map we expect the 3-3-1 on, but once again, one of the teams pulling out a Mei, and maybe even a Reaper coming out here from Magic Mate Ball? Nah, it looks like that was just for a little bit for the spawn glitch that is still there. For those of you who don't know, you can actually do a little bit of a trick with Reaper in spawn, immediately have his ultimate and lose it straight away. You can't actually like get out of spawn with the ultimate. Don't worry, it's not that broken, but it's a little bit of a fun thing.
Yeah, we're actually going to be seeing both Meis come out this time around. I look forward to seeing it. It's really, I anticipate, going to come down to those Mei wall positionings. No Diva to eat up those ults, however. The Grab and the Blizzard are going to be free reign.
The wall's going to be better from Perfection's side. They already split a few members up, but not getting able to get any kills from that. They do have two very low members on the side of Mean Green, but they're going to be able to go forward, trying to chase the Lucio down, but it's in fact Samson that's going to get caught out. Then Fierce Search and Joe going to fall, and this looks to be a very dominant first fight again for Perfection.
Yeah, you said that the wall didn't split anybody up, and they did kind of stay as a unit, but as soon as they started rotating to point, there were people who pulled back towards server room, and there were people who tried to wrap around outside. And we absolutely saw Agadogo notice that and really push with that Reinhardt, just getting those swings in, cleaning up Samson, and getting those kills, and really tipping the favor for Perfection there. Not a lot of ults built up for the now defending team, but that doesn't mean that things still can't go their way.
Samson actually was a little bit ahead of Agadogo in that shadow charge. They're relatively even, but nice wall. They're splitting off Epic Gamer straight away. That's going to lead to a lot of more pressure from the other side of the Brigade. PG1 is going to go forward, trying to get into the middle of it, just uses that block. Another wall comes out, and they're already on the retreat. They're not going to try and fight this. Samson even goes down late, and it should be a, other than that, probably a successful retreat.
Yeah, Samson almost getting out of there and deciding to use the charge. It's a risky gambit, but if you're able to get out of there, you don't have to worry about the respawn timer. Not going to be looking too bad, but what will be looking too bad for the side of Mean Greens is the ult economy on the side of Perfection. They have quite a lot up. They're going to be having probably everybody's online by the end of this fight if they don't use it. Not as solid on the other side. We're going to see how it breaks down.
Yeah, the Blizzard comes out here for the defending team, but they don't actually manage to freeze anyone with it. Another Transcendence comes out from Joe. Nice shatter from Agadogo, but will there be the follow-up? That's the question. There won't be because the Blizzard comes out. Agadogo is frozen behind the wall. There's also PG and Me Big Brain. They're all gonna be frozen. It's actually gonna be Agadogo getting taken down after the shatter hits. Nick trying to get away, but will not be able to get away from that Discord or focus. Now it's gonna be on PG1. See that purple ball? That's what they're focusing on. But in fact, it's actually gonna be Me Big Brain and Magic Mate Ball maybe going down first. Lucio trying to stagger it out a little bit. Agadogo comes back, but I don't think you want to do that because that's just feeding ult charge over at this point.
Yeah, that is a lot of ult charge, and they didn't even really get to spawn the point out that much. It's going to be just about one team fight that the side of Perfection is going to have to win. Certainly not beyond the realm of belief, but they're going to have to be really strong here going through this choke. This choke can be so oppressive when you have that Mei able to just cut you off at a moment's notice. And the wall's going to come out, not going to get anything, so this might be the opportunity.
They do still have a grab up. They have both their support ultimates. Shatter's almost there, so they should be able to be fine here. They are retreating to point. They just want to take a little bit of time, get those last ultimates online. And now the clash is going to happen. Nice grab straight away. There's no Transcendence on the defensive side, or the on our offensive side, the blue side. And they do get a nice wall split out. Actually get Magic 8 Ball, but Executor goes down as a result. Are they going to be able to get out of this freeze this time? Fierce Surge, not going to be able to do it. Gets frozen. And everyone falling here on the side of Mean Green now. And they're going to have to scramble to get back to this point, because with 95%, that should almost be the point there for Perfection.
Yeah, and Perfection going to be looking pretty good here too, considering they have 2 ults, but it doesn't... the Hammond going to barely get on point.
It does make it though, and there's no ultimates. There is almost a blizzard here from Executor. There it comes out. Will he actually get more freezes? He gets Agodogo once again, gets frozen up, doesn't get finished off because of the Transcendence from Mixie here. So we're gonna get a fight on point. The only one that there's Samson. Now Epic Gamer will also fall. Nick gets frozen, doesn't get finished off, and actually Executor falling. So this is gonna be cleanup for Perfection now. They really gotta keep this pace going though, and looks like they will be able to do so. So Samson's gonna be last to fall. That should be the point going into favor here of Perfection. So that's a 2-0 Lijiang win.
Yeah, Perfection looking really good there. It was honestly questionable whether the side of Mean Green would even be able to make it back to stall, and Hammond coming in at the very last second going to be crucial. But then Mean Green switches onto a Tracer, which is always kind of a dangerous thing to run up against the Brig. Of course, that Brig being played by Nick, who, if you can see the play of the game at home, going to be grabbing it for this round. But if not, just take my word for it. But yeah, the Epic Gamer on that Tracer, it's just such a hard character to run into somebody who has so much CC at such a close range. I get why they did it. They needed to get somebody on point fast. It's just tough. It's real tough.
Yeah, and they already got the Wrecking Ball there, so the Tracer might not have been necessary, but like you said, hard in the current meta. Yeah, Paris is going to be banned again. They're not even gonna debate it. They're very confident in that ban. We've talked about that though, right? Do you really need to ban Paris? Because you can take the risk that no one's actually gonna pick it.
Yeah, I think that if you do have a team that feels confident enough to pick Paris, it might look grim for you though. If this is a team that's really bunker heavy style, then that's a tough thing to go up against. I agree. You can probably go without banning Paris. But it's still, I can see the value in banning it and in not banning it, especially if there are other maps that take priority over it.
Yeah, it's very possible. I'm very much in favor of going over to this whole strategy thing. The maps, the bans, the heroes, hero picks and bans. But yeah, there's a little bit of a question mark once again. Teams not having actually looked at the map pool beforehand, which is a little bit of a problem sometimes, but we'll get there in the end. Yeah, the only thing they cannot pick is going to be a control map, so they're going to go with Hanamura here from Mean Green, and I'm interested to see what they've prepared for this, because we've seen a lot of these interesting strats coming out here, right?
Yeah, we have, but it looks like it's going to be Hanamura taken up by the Mean Greens. And, we saw it come out last time. I'm wondering if we're going to see the Mei come out again. It's not necessarily invalid, especially on that first point.
No, it isn't. But I was more, aiming towards things like we've seen in the Atlantic Showdown, where Angry Titan just comes out with these Orisa compositions and holds everyone on second point, almost holds teams on first point. And even though they didn't make it to the finals, they never lost the Hanamura map with that strategy. So it's interesting to see if either of these teams have actually implemented that. And that's what I'm most looking forward to, if we could maybe see some Orisa things. Because we don't have to see the 3-3 matchup all the way through.
It is very curious. Part of me is inclined to say that I would not anticipate these teams being very fast adopters, just because most teams aren't. But they very well might be. I have nothing to say that they can't be either. We were talking about it again last series about how Orisa's become a lot more in vogue now. She's become a lot more popular. She is kind of becoming the preferred to Reinhardt in situations outside of the triple. And in that situation, if these teams have been around for a while, how do you kind of consolidate that? Do you practice on Orisa a whole lot and just hope that she keeps getting better and that other things force Reinhardt out? Do you kind of stick to Reinhardt and try to make him work as a niche pick for your team, even though he's what I would say sub-meta? It's a tough call that I don't know how these teams necessarily go about handling.
Yeah, we got another. So we're now waiting for Perfection to come out here and save a hero, because obviously they don't want to come out here and obviously save the wrong hero or not do it correctly. And then there's going to be a hero ban from Mean Green, but Ryan is going to be saved here. And I gotta say, Agadogo looked very strong on that hero, but it's not often the hero you save. So curious to see this save, because that's not the one you usually get to see here.
Yeah, it's kind of curious. It's a little bit interesting, but we will still be seeing Perfection getting to pick their map side as well. I'm just going to be waiting on that. They are currently set up for defense. It's going to be just a wait and see moment if they're going to stick with that.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of insight here as to why they might have saved the Reinhardt. Mm-hmm. If you go to all competitive seasons on Agadogo's career profile, you'll see that he'll have 505 hours on Reinhardt, and the next hero he's played in competitive is Winston, 42 hours. So I'm not going to go out and call him a one trick, but it is understandable that the hero you have over 500% more hours on, actually 5,000% more hours on, is going to be the pick to save for your team. So they're going to therefore save that Reinhardt. Sombra is going to be banned though, and that is interesting. Why could you want to ban a Sombra?
I think Sombra perhaps going to be banned in the case of if you want to run a bunker comp. That EMP can be so critical against comps that are so tightly compact as bunker comps. If you're running or if you're expecting to run a multi-DPS comp, obviously it would have to not include Sombra already, but if you're looking to run one of those multi-DPS comps, you're going to be getting hit from a lot of angles, so you might not be as bothered by that. That being said, you might also have some targets that are highly vulnerable to your hacks. It seems to be a lot in the current meta. There's it's not common that we see those hack resistant characters like the McCrees, the Reapers, kind of not be played as much anymore. But I think that maybe the bunker is kind of something that they're considering leaning on a little bit.
Yeah, maybe we'll see that McCree come back in with that what's it called, the assault rifle that he's got now. I mean, yeah, it's still a 6-shot, but the 6-shot assault rifle, as we call it. Yeah, looking very interesting, that one coming in. But we are seeing on the defense here just a 3-3. So that's not something I'm surprised at. Once again, they saved the Reinhardt, and Agadogo has got a lot of hours on that hero, so I'm not surprised. Do you think we'll see this Symmetra come out? I know we're baiting ourselves starting to talk about this.
That's tough, because Sims. I would have said yes if I hadn't just seen McDaniel switch to the Hammond. I would have said yes, because it's not uncommon here. Maybe they're just gonna do a little bit of scouting. No, it looks like the commit's gonna be coming out. Joe's gonna be the only one staying in spawn to kind of scout out. Gonna be switching that Mercy.
Yeah, Tracer's already zipped in, so the folks gonna start beginning. They're gonna go out on all these different angles, using those DPS to their advantage. I'm not gonna be able to run the Sombra, which maybe was Fear Search was going to be on, but that's banned. So here they're going to come in. Me Big Brain already going very low. Not going to be able to be finished off just yet. So there's another pile driver. Magic 8 Ball going very low. They're already accruing almost a tick here on the point, because they're just trying to hide in this corner, and they're not able to do so because Magic 8 Ball goes down. Agadogo in another corner on the point now, trying to just hold up the shield and pray to not die, but that's just not going to happen. They do have McDaniels a little bit stunned up there with that Brigitte, but so much damage coming in. The shield's now down for Agadogo, so this is gonna likely be a very convincing fight win now. They're very low though on the attacker side.
Yeah, and this is looking very good. I want to talk about somebody who didn't appear in the kill feed that much, but it was very crucial in that play. That's Samson on that Pharah. That Pharah putting a lot of pressure and a lot of burst damage onto multiple heroes, really kind of applying the clamps to perfection there. and Perfection absolutely suffering because of it. And we're going to see Samson with the Rocket Barrage coming online.
Infoset's already out, so they can definitely see what the defense is holding. So Epic Game are giving all that side free points of entry being shown, and already Agodogo is under a lot of pressures now on that Winston. So maybe not his favorite hero is already almost going down. There goes the Winston, and there he's going to be able to fall down forward. Me Big Brain also going very low. PG1 almost out of that Magic Mate Ball once again going low. Everyone just going low and not being able to sustain all this damage. They're not able to play the game they want to play, and it's just such a nice attack here from the Mean Green. They're definitely coming back after that Legion game.
Yeah, it's gonna pretty much just be a little bit of stagger from Agadogo as the rest of the reinforcements come online, but it's hard to anticipate Mean Green's not gonna win this.
Yeah, they need to start getting some kills here. They do actually get Samson the Executor, so they could maybe come back in here and actually defend this, because that's 2 big damage shorts being gone. Epic Gamer does get a consolation kill or Magic Mate Ball. It does seem like they have to retreat and regroup, and that was such a huge bomb, and also the kill on Executor coming out.
Yeah, and that was really crucial as well. We're going to start seeing the swaps come through. Fierce Surge going to be trying to throw that pulse bomb, not quite finding anything, but they're not going to feel too scuffed about that because they know they're just going to be hopping onto something along the lines of a Zarya maybe. And, you know, we talked about...
It's going to be the 3-3.
Yeah, we're going to talk about ult economy here for a little bit. Mixie going to be on this Ana, not switching off just yet because we do see that nano boost online. You don't want to give that up, especially when it can help you win this fight up top. But I imagine that once that nano boost gets used, we're going to see the Zen switch.
Yeah, I mean, the Nano Boost comes out, but it's time to take down Mixie, so the Ana is down. The Shatter doesn't hit anything from Agodogo, so they're going to have to come in here without that Ana. They do have the Sound Barrier sustained, but meanwhile, we see Mean Green just waiting a little bit, not being too aggressive, just not pushing into that Sound Barrier. And now they're going to take position, going to go over to the bridge, onto the point, and now they'll have to wait. And they only need a tick, so there really needs to be a quick contest here. They do come down here, but they already have their Mixie back on the Zenyatta, and maybe that attack came in a little bit too slowly.
Yeah, they didn't really seem like they tried to capitalize on the side of the kill towards Mixie. You think that if maybe they had realized that Ana was down, they could have gotten a little bit more aggressive, especially since no Ana, no Zenyatta means that there's not going to be any damage amplification either. It's something that just didn't quite seem was communicated that well for Mean Green. Looking forward, they're going to be a little bit down in ult percentage, but both teams kind of all over the board with their ults.
It's looking a little bit... I would say the support ultimates is what I'm looking at right now. Where we have Zenyatta and Lucio ults definitely going a lot better for Mean Green, as they have been on those heroes longer and now used the ultimates recently. They're going to try the same approach again, like dropping down, going onto point. Epic Surge gets boofed up, so they're just Fierce Surge, sorry. They're going to just drop down after their Zarya, save him out, and now the push is going to come in here for the defenders. They get Samson straight away with a nice bash combo, but the Transcendence not being able to save him. Joe will not have that ultimate. They also use the Sound Barrier. They really need to get started getting some kills to justify those ultimates, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. No shield, Graviton Bomb gets one, and they're just being cleaned up here by Perfection.
Yeah, and they did use a little bit here. They did use the grab, they did use the Diva Bomb, and now we're going to be seeing those same ults onto the other side, onto the attackers of Mean Green. However, we were talking about, or you were talking about a little bit earlier, Magic Mate Ball and Mixie going to be having their defensive support ults online to kind of mitigate a lot of damage that can come through with that grab. Definitely going to be something to keep in mind. And the wraparound that time looked a little bit different from the last time they tried to do it. That time they did not land directly onto point, meaning that they had to fight inwards. That's a tougher spot to be in.
Joe, early kill, and that Doggo also gets to shatter on Executor. They tried to do a little bit of a different split approach, but it didn't really pay off for them. Samson does get the kill into Nick, but they don't have any point presence. They already lost members, and if you're on the attackers, you need that member advantage, or at least even numbers.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. And once again, neither defensive ult used on the side of Perfection. That's going to be good for them. They know that they have to kind of keep these in the bank for the time being until they see that grab come out from Fierce Surge. Even better if PG1's going to be able to play around it, but right now they just want those as a little insurance policy.
Yeah, it's gonna go through the middle again. Going this time, they are all going down. They cannot be booped off anywhere this time around. That's not gonna happen. Agodogo will drop next to them, so they are gonna be ready on the point. But there's the Graviton. Graviton for Fear Surge is out. Are they gonna get any follow-up? Nice Shatter coming out here from Samston. Will they get the follow-up? No, because both support ultimates nicely followed up by one another. Now there's no support ultimates left though, so they really need to start defending against this. And they do get Epic Gamers. It's a very nice start of the fight here. Agodogo gets another one into Samston, and it does look like they will have stabilized here in this fight, using a lot of ultimates on both sides, but Perfection just cleaning up.
Yeah, and Mean Greens were looking so good before, but now they're just really having a lot of trouble. The stagger even going to go on to Executor. That's going to be tough, and you got to think that that's only going to buy more time for Perfection, less time on the side of Mean Green. And now they have their defensive ults up versus a Grav, an Earth Shatter, and a Diva Bomb. So a lot of CC and burst damage they're going to have to kind of play around here. And Joe and McDaniel's really going to have to be on their toes moving forward on this one.
Very nicely done. It's going to be the support ultimate keep getting traded out, but Nixie has charged the Transcendence up a large amount, actually a lot more than maybe should have been possible. But yeah, they're going to try and get this high ground approach once again. Agodogo has a Shatter, does actually hit Executor with it, but not much else. They'll use the Transcendence now. Sound Barrier is likely to come out soon, but Executor is already out of map. Samson is alone on the point, and they really need to start defending their heroes. They're just getting split up every single time.
Yeah, and really, Samson just... That wasn't even due to some misplay by Samson. That was due to some good play by Nick. Nick actually waiting on the opposite side of the door frame, getting the shield bash, then the whip shot onto Samson, making them drop the shield, get flung onto point, and then there was no shield to prevent the rest of the team from getting earth shattered by Agodogo. It was really good.
Nice eats on the Graph, but Fear Surge goes down, so they're not going to be able to use their own at all. Nice Sound Barrier, but once again the Shatter coming out. Samson actually charging the bomb back inside, almost kills a teammate, but only falls himself due to that. And this looks to be a very dominant last fight here, but maybe that bomb is huge? No, it's not, unfortunately. So very nice defense so far for Perfection. Really using the right amount of aggression at the right time. Will take down Executor. McDaniel soon to follow, probably with Epic Gamer on his side. And I don't think they're going to be able to get back into it, but such a nice defense. And now the Transcendence is there. They do get the kill on Agodogo, who's been so pivotal. Nothing to shield any follow-up from this Graviton besides those bubbles. Maybe they can get something back here, and they only need one tick, so they don't even need to clear the point for that long. But when Mixie is popping off and PG1, they're just not trading out the kills quickly enough, so it does seem like there's going to be a hold for Perfection. 95.1% is where the ticker will stop.
And man, Mean Green at the very end of that fight looked like they might have some kills going for them. They might have been able to start picking it up. They just weren't able to get those kills fast enough, and the respawns weren't there for them because of the massive walk back. That is just so unfortunate. You look at them and you think, oh man, this is it. This is at least looking like an even fight. Most teams don't get that second point when they're in this kind of situation, but it just didn't pan out for them. And because of that, they're not going to be getting that second point, meaning that the side of Perfection gonna have to be doing they're basically gonna have to get 2 points to get the win here on Hanamura. Or excuse me, yes.
It is Hanamura, don't worry.
Yes,
but yes,
yes.
They almost had to get the 2 points. But we've been talking a little bit about Agodogo. Like I highlighted that how much of a Reinhardt player he is. Like and we saw him a little bit on the Winston. Do you feel that him being mainly a Reinhardt player is going to hurt them on this attack now? Because when he switched back to the Reinhardt, it was looking very good for them. But before that, when he was either pressured by the composition of the attackers or when he was on the Winston, didn't look that great.
It's going to be tough. I think it's going to depend on a majority of what the comp of what the surrounding comp is. If they do something like Orion Symmetra teleport to point against a bunker comp, I really like that kind of strategy. If they're able to just quickly locate onto point, I don't think that having Orion's going to necessarily be the most costly thing in terms of passing by a bunker comp. But if they're just going to try to run the standard triple against a bunker, that's an entirely different story. I think it's really going to give them struggle. It's not really going to matter, though. Look like the Hammond's going to be coming out instead.
He's just doing it to scout, so he's just going to walk up the spawn. They are going to come out here with some sort of counter bunker strat using a Bastion. But I don't know if they will have enough damage to break through their shield. PG1 is going to obviously scout a little bit with the Diva where exactly are there. They know where they are. but they need to hit this anti-nade, otherwise there's not going to be enough damage, and it already looks like PG's taking a lot of damage straight away, and they don't have an anti-nade. So Epic Gamers is going to go forward, try and shoot a little bit. Does back off because he wants to stay safe, but PG1 is going to get demeched, so that's not something you want to have happen straight away.
Yeah, this is such a tough situation to be in. If you're running a comp like this without a lot of quick relocation abilities, how do you get through this choke without immediately getting torn up and just feeding a ton of ult charge? There's no good answer.
I think I see what they're doing. They're charging up the amplification matrix so they can have an overwhelming amount of damage. But I don't know if it's going to be enough because they need to do that damage in the amount of time that the amplification the immortality field is up. The immortality field needs to sustain them while they're doing that damage. There it comes. Are they going to be able to win this fight though with all their damage coming out? That's the question.
It's looking like the immortality field's going to go down. That might be the turnaround.
They actually managed to do it. They managed to do it. They actually managed to break through the shield and then kill Fierce Surge and Demech Executor. But now they're done. The damage ultimate is gone. They do get Samson though, so this looks like it's going to go in the favor of Perfection. And it's a very nice way of breaking that comp. Just countering it with your own bunker that just does more damage. But are we going to be able to see them cap the point here? It does look like they're ticking up a lot, but there's still a lot of members alive here for the defense. So there is the Bastion ult coming out here for me, Big Brain, and combined with the rest of this team, they'll be able to clean it up finally. So Perfection capping the first point. Did take a solid 2 minutes to do so, though.
Yeah, Executor gonna be in a tough spot getting that nano boost because they're basically nano boosted, having the opportunity to shoot at a Bastion, but the immortality field's there, so you just have to spend a portion of your beefy nano boostedness just tearing down a deployable. That's got to be a little bit frustrating.
Magic 8 early fall. That's not what you wanted. You wanted to sort of snowball with your ult advantage, but now there's a multi-flank defense here, a multi-angle defense, which is just going to be able to deny so much value from that relatively linear attack that they're trying to pull out here with that Bastion. Bastion going to go down, Orisa going to fall. And you're just so aggressive. Epic Gamer really showing off being an Epic Gamer. They even used to... Sorry, they use those support ults to get back into spawn, but they're just going to switch off. Looks like they're just going to go with the DPS of their own. Agodogo going over to the Winston, going over to the D.Va. They're going to go with a dive goats composition here because they want to counter the DPS. But once again, Agodogo not on his strongest hero, if we're careful enough to say that.
Yeah, and Mixie going to be not on that Zenyatta, instead on the Ana.
Yeah, immediately a kill there on the Executor, but I don't know if that's going to be enough because it's one DPS, but they still have to get in, and their respawn advantage is going to be there because they're defending so aggressively. So Joe also goes down, but I don't know if that matters because they still have Fierce Surge behind them. They still have the Samson behind them. They do manage to get on point, but they still need to keep getting these kills and not get killed their own. There's the Barrage. Mixie goes down. They do actually not getting any kills on the Barrage. It's a very big thing. Executor goes down. Fierce Surge does manage to demech P1. PG1, Executor manages to get res, so they're still on the point, they're still contesting this. McDaniels is now back, and they've lost their Ana, so that's a pretty big loss. A lot of healing gone, but Agodogo just keeps zapping and zapping away. Samson's back on the Mei. We'll be able to stall out for a little bit longer here. Me, Big Brain, going down to the shot of Epic Gamer after being frozen by Samson. Very nicely played. There are the mines, and they do seem to get a little bit of a grasp here on the defense, because we know that. The defensive spawn advantage, you need to decisively keep getting kills, and the kills just stopped coming.
Yeah, it's a very tough spot. However, it looks like they're not done committing to this. Nano boost going to be going on to PG1. See if that turns it around. It's going to be tough here. And the kills do not look in
killing
favor.
Epic Gamer in spawn as well, and they're just staggering themselves out at this point. Yes, they get a few more ultimates, but me, Big Brain, goes back on the Zarya to try to do some things, and yeah, I mean they're going to be able to jump in with a Primal Winston. They'll have a sound barrier, but and a self-destruct. Okay, so they'll have some ultimates to attack with. Is it going to be enough?
Yeah, they certainly will. Plus, they have to worry about the side of Fierce Surge having that pulse bomb. One pulse bomb stick onto Mixie or Magic 8 can really kind of cripple your push before it even gets started. Definitely something to keep an eye out as we see that Tracer kind of hopping on that upper gondola area. And it looks like the continued push will be up the gut, right down the center. Agadoko kind of doing a little bit of scouting, not really able to find
Surges behind him. There goes the pulse bomb. Doesn't get much of anything. Actually gives me Big Brain a little bit of charge, but Big Brain going down low to a shot of Epic Gamer. So here goes the damage comes in. They now walk in. The pulse bomb is out. The threat's gone. Big Brain going very low though. will still get healed up. Joe gets their rest and Epic Gamer. We're still an even number situation, but there is the pharmacy down to the self-destruct. Very nice ultimate placement there. And who is going to be on point now? Is this going to be Fierce Surge? McDaniels is back, but there's so much presence and so much power here coming out from the attackers. Perfection really putting the screws to them. And that's going to be just the map completion. Very nicely done.
Yeah, Perfection taking this one rather quickly. I took him a little bit on that second point, but I think that both teams kind of trying to get a feel for what the other one was trying to accomplish. And, you know, we talked about it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think Agadogo was as bad as we may have been expecting on, you know, the Winston or even, you know, the Hammond for a little bit of scouting. But I don't think that just because they played so much Reinhardt, you necessarily can count them out of those other main tank slots. No,
obviously I didn't want to suggest that necessarily it was going to do bad, but you can definitely see things happening where certain characters, if you play them a lot, they're going to be detriment to other characters you might need to play. Didn't actually seem to be the case, like you said. Not as strong. They already banned Paris, so they cannot ban it again. So let's see what map they're going to go for instead. And then we're going to go back into the hero saves and bans. Do you think they'll save the Reinhardt again? Or will it depend on the map that we go to?
I think it's going to depend on the map. I don't know. I think Agadogo has been playing a serviceable Orisa. I liked the tactic they went with where the Baptiste just tries to build ult. That's kind of creative in one of those, you know, controlled damage taking kind of situations where you just have to really know your limits. You don't want to get you don't want to dip in too deep, or else you'll start losing members, you'll start losing picks, or you'll give away too much opposing ult charge. But I did like the way that went, and I think that if they can find similar ways to play that are a little bit more out of the box like that, or at least less conventional, they definitely have a chance here, even if they don't play the Rhine.
But it was a very interesting way that they went into like the Hanamura attack, where they had to play against that bunker and just put up a stronger bunker of their own. That's not something you see happen a lot.
Yeah, it's very tough to do on the attack, considering that the defense is already set up. If you're on the attack, that means you have to move your Bastion into place. He has to spend time setting up. Your Orisa has to throw down her shield, and then ideally that happens. So it's very tough unless you have something that can block a lot of damage consistently, like a Diva Matrix, or even back to the old school Mei walls where they had a little bit more health. It gave you perhaps a second or two to get all the resources put down at the same time without really risking any members just from the activation of the Mei wall. But moving forward, it's looking like the map ban is actually going to be coming out for Junkertown, meaning that I'm not going to be seeing the Outback here tonight anymore.
No, we're definitely going to have to see Mean Green select a different map. They're going to go with Dorado. So still an escort map. Going to be seeing that tonight, which, you know, Dorado, very fun map. Definitely not opposed to seeing that one, but curious to see if there's going to be any change in strategy. Dorado definitely still very much possible to play more DPS style competitions there. And they have been looking pretty good on those on Mean Green's side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to say for sure either way, but I think that we are perhaps more likely to see not only the DPS comps, but the less Rhine-centric comps. So the Winston Diva comps, and I'm talking particularly on the second phase, can be very powerful because they have the access to that high ground so much easier than a Rhine Zarya does. Or a Rhine Zarya, Rhine Diva even, you don't see that run as much traditionally unless it's already in a triple style, but that high ground possession can be so dominant that I think if we didn't see the Winston come out from both teams on that phase, it might end up tilting it in the other team's favor.
Yeah, that's definitely very possible. And obviously we're going to see Ryan be saved again. I mean, I would say obviously, but that is just what's happening. I'm actually curious to see what they're going to ban here, because if they're going to ban the Sombra again or not. Maybe they want to use it in their favor because they don't think the other team is going to run it now. We do see a sub come in here for the side of Mean Green. It's going to be Captain Carlos coming back in. Had to miss the first two maps, but is luckily here now. Let's
Yeah, if I remember right, it is going to be capping Carlos in for Samson. So Samson going to be taking a quick break, popping in onto the bench as it goes, or as it's called in traditional sports, I'd say. Captain Carlos going to be coming back out onto the field. Maybe this might change things up for Mean Green. Maybe they perform a little bit stronger, hold up against Perfection just a little bit better.
It is very possible, you know. Maybe that's because this might actually be their main player, so they're not going to be a bit stronger on their support side, because Captain Carlos, if I'm not mistaken, is their flex support. They're going to be batting out the Diva though. That's not the Sombra this time. Is there a reason why they would go for the Diva ban rather than the Sombra ban this time, or like any other ban?
It's peculiar. We don't see Diva get banned all that much. And a strong reason for that is because Diva is applicable in a lot of comps. She's applicable in the dive style comps. She's applicable in the bunker style comps. In triple, she's good there unless you sub her out for something like a McCree or a May, which even then, those are pretty niche situations. So it's hard to tell what the what's kind of going on in the mind of Mean Green here for banning that Diva, unless they just are planning on using it. And maybe they want to play something that's a little bit more Ana-centric, because Ana can be fiercely countered by Diva. You know, Diva can eat the sleeps, she can eat the nades, and then as well as the standard shots. Ana's really, as far as memory goes, the only one who has to deal with, you know, her healing getting negated by a defense matrix. So maybe that's something that support players are trying to make work for them on the side of Mean Green.
It's very possible, and we're having a little bit of technical issues, so please stand by. We'll definitely get into the map as soon as we can. Don't worry, guys. Like, it's all gonna be good. In the meantime, though, you know, Dorado. What do you call that building in the middle of second, like where the high ground's on, etc.?
It's a church, I think.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people say that. It's actually a courthouse.
Oh, it makes sense. There's pews. I feel like that's an easy mistake. I feel like that's
it's a very easy mistake, and it's obviously like a church in Mexico. You know, you see it often a lot. But there's even like a very nice sign on the door that says Palacio de Justicia, which is, you know, Spanish for Palace of Justice, or, you know, courthouse.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's an easy mistake, but I hear a lot of people calling it out, and sometimes I feel like, do I want to correct someone on this, or is it just, you know, at this point we just call it church? Or it's kind of that same thing that happened on Kings Row, right? You remember that one where everyone was calling it? I think what was everyone calling that one? That was actually like a brewery, and everyone was calling it Boiler.
Oh, Boiler, yeah, Boiler. Yeah, brewery got mistaken for Boiler all the time.
Yeah, they're distillery devices, guys. Come on, it's actually on the wall as well. It's one of those similar situations that Dorado is known for. Other than that, it's obviously known for being a very clean, democratic, and definitely not corrupt city. So
yeah, 100%.
That's what we're going for. You know, who would say that? You know,
there's definitely no roaming gangs of foot
not at all.
Here.
And I mean, people then say like, oh, do you have any personal relation with that? So like, I do. I very well know the time. I even know the guy that runs everything there. He's a very friendly guy. So yeah, I would not at all say that there's a corruption going on there. But hey, we're gonna be seeing those DPS come out from Mean Green, which is probably what we're expecting with that Diva ban.
Yeah, I mean, Diva, you're not going to play her you're not going to play her if you're running the quad DPS, which we're seeing Mean Green pop out on. So it makes a lot of sense. It's definitely something we are not surprised to hear going on.
Yeah, Cam Carlos on the Sombra, running around already, being a menace to everyone in the groom. Sombra's home ground on the Dorado, and they're pushing them back hard. PG1 almost going down, but actually gets the kill into Epic Gamer. Is a bit cut out on this flank though. We'll be able to get out with the wall, maybe. No, I think PG is basically trapped there. That's not going to go well for PG. That's a kill. Magic Maid, while trying to maybe help out a little bit, would just get a little bit of poke damage, but not actually much else done. So they're able to attack without this May in the choke now. That will be a lot of freedom for McDaniels. So McDaniels actually going in here, getting a lot of damage. Aquadogo will go down. That's the Reiner gone. That's all the shield, all the damage negation out of there. Fierce Surge will get picked up on the flank. But will that be enough? It doesn't look like it. And now we have PG1 coming back on the Roadhog. And Roadhog, the one-man apocalypse, that's the one we want to see.
Yeah, it's really going to be crucial on PG1 landing those hooks. If not, you don't have those guaranteed high burst damage kill potentials coming through. So really that's something to keep an eye out for. That looks like they're just trying to fill the spot for D.Va with that hog.
Maggie Big Brain got the nano, but gets taken out by the minefield. Nice play from McDaniels there. Now they're just going to try and keep it on going. Executor is taken out though. Epic Gamer will get res back up, so they will still be in an even numbers advantage here, even number situation. But Magic Mateball just jumping around that Lucio, not being challenged whatsoever. There's the hook. There's almost a follow-up, but Joe manages to fly away. Guardian Angel for himself there. That's a nice hack. Doesn't get the shield out from Orisa, but does prevent a lot of other things. But Big Brain comes back, snipes Joe. Magic Matefall gets Captain Carlos, and that looks to be the cleanup here for perfection.
Yeah, and you know, I'm looking at it and I'm realizing that without shields, the Roadhog makes a little bit more sense. You don't have to worry about your hook bouncing off of a Winston bubble or a Reinhardt shield or an Ori barrier. You just have, if it's gonna land, it's gonna land on something fleshy. You're gonna pull them in. You're gonna just basically get a bunch of scrap shot to the face. It's gonna build a lot of ult charge. Hog's ult not the most applicable in the world, but it looks like the swap's gonna be coming out here. And it's looking like the lean towards the triple style. Executor still gonna be on that Sombra, however.
And no D.Va obviously to deny any Sombra scouting, but there's gonna be a hog flank. PG1 gonna try to flank that out, but he doesn't actually get a target. Manages to get Joe somehow through the shield of his own teammate. But meanwhile, Agodogo goes down. And who would you rather have? I'd rather have my main tank, but it's still going to be PG1 behind him, using that whole hog, trying to push everyone off the cart. Doesn't get any kills for it. Actually, Fierce Surge gets a kill on that. Meanwhile, McDaniels goes down on the front line. So fight taking place on two fronts. Now the teams have come together. Now this is going to be a straight up fight. Executor just pushing out the flank. Agodogo coming back in with a nano, but is hacked up, so will not be able to actually use a shield. Doesn't need to though, just swinging for the fence, but will not actually get anything. Nick Invent going down to First Surge, and now the attacker's coming in hard. Big Brain does get a pick on Joe though. Joe not being lucky with these fights. Actually, is not charging up his Transcendence at a rapid pace because of it, but Agodogo getting overrun. But Big Brain, another kill. They just keep getting a kill when they really don't deserve to, but meanwhile the point has been capped, so this is probably the time where they really got to start running away.
Yeah, you don't want to be too overcommitted to this if you're the defense. Otherwise, you're just going to end up giving ult charge and progress to the cart, especially after those doors drop. And right now, we're already speaking about ult charge, Magic Mateball, as well as Agodogo, probably going to be the only ones coming up into this next fight with an ult. However, we look at the other side, Executor going to be able to have that EMP, McDaniels, and Fierce Surge as well, having those tank ultimates online. Executor, if they get a really nice EMP and follow up, they can really just win this fight off of that ult alone. It's going to depend on how the side of Perfection is playing.
Magic Mateball is just hiding from that Sombra, just doesn't want to get caught out by the EMP, but does not get hacked, so gets the EMP, gets Sunberry off, but doesn't save Agodogo. Agodogo does fall. Now it's PG1 on the cart trying to fight off Joe, but Joe actually gets healed up in time, so it'll be Nick falling on the other side, and now it's just they're trying to push them back into that spawn door, trying to get the cart to the last point. And will they get another contest? That's the main question.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to certainly try to go for it, but they're going to be locked down in place. An Earth Shatter to come out.
But there's no follow-up because of that Transcendence of Joe, and they could use the Transcendence because Big Brain not anywhere close to that Graviton Surge, so nice point cap here, and they're just going to keep rolling on through, getting the stagger kills onto Agodogo, Mixie also falling, and they're just going to keep running into their spawn until they can run no more, it seems.
Yeah, and really the Sombras have been looking pretty powerful in these kinds of in these encounters so far. Really a lot of rounds have been countered by it, but the grab.
They grabbed into the enemy spawn, and then the sound barrier does save them, but Captain Carlos not able to get out there, and the anti-nade on McDaniels and Fierce Surge is just the nail in the coffin. Finally, Agodogo gets some value out of that nano boost. But will Mixie stay on the Ana now? Because that is the main question you got to ask yourselves. Without the D.Va, that's a pretty valuable pick.
It is pretty valuable. It might be a bit harder to get leverage with it in this area, however. You don't necessarily have a whole lot of long sight lines. You do have the high ground, but if your Ana gets caught out up there, it can be a little bit of a tense situation. It looks like they are going to be sticking onto it. They might be feeling a little bit confident. Mixie staying way far back, though, does not want to get caught out, especially by that Sombra if the Sleep Dart does not land.
I feel the EMP fighting coming because both Sombras about have it up. McDonald's does fall down here. Immediately the boops are on him. Doesn't hit the shatter, but the follow-up isn't quite there. There's the EMP from the defenders. That should probably be the end of the fight because they do get a lot of kills. But it's actually, they don't get a lot of kills. It's Captain Carl's only one going down. And now the Sound Barrier even invested from the defense. And that's a lot of ults investment for not a lot of kills. The charge does come out here from McDonald's. Doesn't get any kill with it. It's actually Executor and Akadogo both falling. So this is going to be an interesting fight because they can still win this in the attacker side. And they are pushing in hard, especially because they still have their Reinhardt. So they can be a little bit risky. McDonald's goes for a charge. Doesn't get any value out of it. But he doesn't need to. He just needs to zone them out because they want to get that card to the final point. PG just trying to zone him out on the high ground there, but just gets booped away by Cam Carlos. And meanwhile, Joe gets the kill onto Magic 8 Ball. But PG1 actually on the flank gets killing Joe, and now Nick comes back. So the defense is looking to stabilize here and actually pull it back. But that was a very scrappy fight.
Yeah, it was scrappy indeed. And right now, they're holding fairly decently. Perfection getting caught out in this grab.
Aggressive grab here, but is there enough follow-up? There isn't. It was just Fierce Surge. I don't know if you want that back, maybe. You probably do. But they knew there was no defensive ultimate, so you kind of want to go for that sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, again, it just does not seem like the focus fire is coming through whenever they land onto the anti-nades. The calls aren't there. The anti-nades come through, but we don't see whoever gets hit by it to really get focused down quite enough. I think that Mixie might be feeling a little frustrated at that.
That's a nice translocator, by the way, from PG1 all the way up on the high ground. Is now behind them. We'll try and get that grab off. The grab is now there for the defense. They both Shatters not getting much. Fierce Surges on the ground will not be able to get finished up because of all the healing. But the EMP will deny all the shields, so both Joe and Fierce Surge will go down. McDonald's as well. Epic Gamer falling, and with the time ticking down and 5-6 kills, yeah, that's going to be a defense here. We're close to the third point though.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it's not horrible for the Mean Green. It's looking very similar to, I'd say, what we saw at Hanamura, if memory is correct, where they came so close to getting that last
very
point.
Close.
It's definitely going to put the pressure onto Perfection. Perfection doesn't have a walk in the park, but they're just going to have to perform here. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities, especially during the streets phase, during the first point, where you can buy a lot of time and make that third point really stressful for Perfection if you're Mean Green.
Yeah, and we obviously talked a little bit about where the Ana pick was like a good thing to stay with, because we had the Ana versus the Zenyatta going on, and with no Diva on the field, but instead Sombras on the field. Does that change like any preference that you personally say a team should have? Like, do you still go for the Zenyatta in most situations, or is that more of an Ana matchup in that case?
You mean in terms of what picks to go against the Sombra?
Yeah, no, I mean this. Yeah, exactly. There's a Sombra. The Diva isn't there. Instead, there's a Sombra on both sides, and the one side chose to go with the Zenyatta, the other with the Ana.
Oh, you have to favor the team with the Ana. The team with the Zenyatta just is not as favorable. The Zenyatta, of course, can get just 75% of his health wiped at the sight of an EMP. And furthermore, if he's not as defensible against a flanker, that's why. He does decent damage. I'm not gonna fault him on that, but it's not enough, especially if you're having to turn around after you've had 5 bullets sunken into the back of your head to quickly and reliably frag out those flankers. But an Ana just has to land one ability, land or sleep dart, and that puts all the pressure on the Sombra.
Yeah, we're already in the defense though, and there's again the quad DPS coming out, and they can definitely run this here. I mean, again, they're running into this. It's not a 3-3. It's actually a 3-2-1 setup with a Winston this time. So Agodogo not on the Reinhardt. Immediately PG1 getting taken out by a nice combo here from the Para and the Wrecking Ball. First Surge finishing off Agodogo. That's a nice start to this defense, and they really need a pretty good defense in order to waste enough time to possibly win the map.
Yeah, that's really what it's going to be about. We talked about it just a second ago, that there's a lot of times where you can, even if you're buying 30, 45 seconds off at a time, you're still looking in a pretty good spot. They just have to make sure that the offense has to make sure that these fight wins are concise, because right now the defense is so far spread.
First Surge getting almost ambushed by Magic 8 Ball and Nick together. PG1 chiming in a little bit, getting actually the kill on the McDonald's here. Agodogo will also go down, and actually the res comes back in on, on McDonald's there. So there will be a little bit of even numbers here, but the main tank will be up for the defense. They will have longer respawns though, so that's their main thing, and they're missing the res right now. Magic 8 Ball going very low, but doesn't actually go down. So will there be another pick soon? That's the question. With all these snipers, you gotta think so.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be the case.
And there we go.
Yeah,
Nick and
getting caught out.
Agatoko. I mean, you see Epic Gamer, and Epic Gamer's been hitting some good shots on this Widowmaker, so I was expecting that to come out. But yeah, it's just these snipers. A pick can happen at any moment in time if someone gets to the sight line.
Yeah, and right now it doesn't seem like there's a lot of regrouping coming on from the offensive side. They just seem like they keep, you know, oh, we're just one down, we can keep going out there, but they really can't, especially with these hacks and the isolations that can come in from a Sombra, all that different kind of
Doggo
play.
once again taken out. You're really seeming a little bit uncomfortable on this Wrecking Ball right now. I definitely see that shining through a little bit. And me, Big Brain, just get taken out by Executor. Like you said, they're just keeping standing there in spawn, and don't do that. Don't go for that res, because you just get taken out by the barrage. Executor will fall very deep in enemy territory, so don't think that res will be coming in anytime soon. But I don't think that will matter. I mean, because they just keep coming out, and then Fierce Surge get another pick on Mixie.
Yeah, this is tough. I don't
What did
know
they do? What did they do? Because they switched up the Orisa now. Is this something they could do? Is this like, does this work?
It's tough because the Orisa is a very incremental mover snipers because you can't move that shield. You think that, you know, maybe the Reinhardt, like honestly, maybe just move your team up with a Reinhardt. It's going to be tough. There's going to be multiple angles of attack from these snipers. But really, aside from PG1 getting some nasty stealth level kills.
Well, there is it already. The first kill on First Surge together, but then Epic Gamer McDonald's just come back in with a headshot and another kill. First Surges get rezzed up, and now they're down 2. And while they were up 1, it goes so quickly with these DPS.
Yeah,
Nice
however,
EMP though. That EMP is huge. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, they could definitely start cleaning this up. They need to start getting kills. Joe goes down. That's a big thing. It's their only healer. Main tank also falling. Executor soon to follow. And it looks like they finally broke it through this defense, but they've only got 30 seconds left, and they won't be able to get this first point straight away. There will be another defense.
yeah, it seems like the side of Mean Green going to be having gall to have another defense here. That's going to be tough, especially since both teams are going to come down to fundamentals. And speaking of fundamentals, I think that the defense has been looking pretty strong. Going to be tough for the offense without any ultimates.
Executor being very, very scared of me, Big Brain now, and Nick actually taking down both the Widow and the Mercy. So it's big picks from Nick coming out here, and Magic 8 Ball being chased out a little bit, but won't go down. And they have no healers on the defense right now because Joe was the only one there. So every little bit of damage just sticking, and they'll be able to take that first point. 2 minutes 30 added to the clock, already down to 2 minutes 20 because that's just how the game works.
Yeah, Fierce Surge actually tried to go for a little cheeky back behind the team archery with Hanzo, but ends up getting slept by the side of Mixie. That was a little unfortunate. They did get killed later after the point had been captured, meaning that the spawn's going to be coming out a little bit later. Might be a bit expensive, but we're still seeing PG1 do that scouting. That Sombra not looking to stop.
Those two ultimates coming out together. The Dragon just locking up Agodogo after that EMP with a slam. They do trade out 2 kills, so Nick again is fragging out, but Executor gets rezzed, has the barrage, but Nick again takes him out. Agodogo gets rezzed. Magic 8 Ball on the Nano Mercy is gonna go try and take out First Surge. First Surge is wise though, doesn't want to go against that electric Mercy. She just runs away a little bit, and now he's gonna see Stillmade, but it's actually Epic Gamer trading back on Nick, and no more reses on the field. So Epic Gamer gonna have free reign together with First Surge to just snipe down up onto Agodogo and to Mixie.
Yeah, brutal that Magic 8 Ball got a little bit separated here, but this fight is still going back and forth. It is not looking like either one of these teams.
That was the EMP from PG1 though, and they don't get any kills or value out of that whatsoever. That's what you might want back. Me Big Brain now has the infra side up as well, only gets to kill an Executor, that just gets res back up. Now you gotta run away as Me Big Brain.
Yeah, it's looking very tough here on the side of Perfection. They don't look that organized, but they're gonna
This
be
has
going
been working
the
for
hog.
them. That PG1 hog The Sombra obviously wasn't getting much. Now we get why he was using the EMP, just wanted to switch anyways. They somehow get that invisible halt hook onto Carlos. That was just, they didn't know the Sombra was there. They just think there's probably someone up there and Sombra just happened to drop down. But that's such a pivotal play. I mean, not anywhere close to the EMP, but maybe could have built that up during the fight. And now it's going to be Executor hovering over them. Going to be trying to get a barrage, some value out of the barrage, and he really needs to get some. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for them to contest this point.
Yeah, Epic Gamer a little caught out trying to rotate between that front and back lines of sight and trying to get some shots on the PG1.
Such good shots. I mean, Fierce Surge gets me big brain, and then the hack came out on the Arista, so the shield could be replaced. The barrage gets 2. Captain Carlos following up on Godogo. Executor finishing it off with Mixie. That was just PG1 on the point, and they use a celebratory EMP because no one's going to be able to make it back to the point, and that is a 2-1. No 3-0s tonight, Sir Welcome.
Yeah, none on the board tonight, but that's kind of a shame. Perfection just looked like they did not know what was going on for a little bit there. They looked bamboozled, to be sincere.
Yeah, do we want to maybe revisit our Agodogo theory here, or did it not have much to do with it?
I don't know. It's... I don't know. They tried playing like the Orisa a lot with Agadogo.
Yeah.
And I can't say I understand the logic behind why. Yes, when the hog comes out, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. You get the pulls, but even then, it's still not a very aggressive comp. I think that it's a hard situation. It's not one that's easy to look at these teams and say, this is exactly why they started falling apart to me. I just think that a lot of it was that they kind of shot themselves in the foot by never giving themselves multiple chances. They pretty much got the first push and then the last push on first point. And those 2 pushes were the only ones that worked because the rest were self-staggered, basically.
Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting interaction there. And I do agree. I don't think it has everything to do with just Agodogo. I mean, that's just it's almost never just one player. Like you said, they just kept coming out of spawn and trying to get kills. And obviously, that's something you can do, though. I mean, you do have that that power thing going on where you're saying like, yes, you know, we have the spawn advantage. So even though one of us dies, if we can get 1 or 2 picks on your side, that's just going to be like double the value. So it doesn't matter if we lose 2 as long as you lose 1. So that might have been what they were going for, but it just wasn't really working out for them. Ico is going to be banned here, though. So what are we going to go to for map 4? It's going to be Perfection's choice. And they have some control left. There is still Hybrid in the pool. So Assault. I mean, they obviously can't play another Escort right now, and Junkertown's out anyways.
Yeah, so Junkertown's going to be out. Eichenwald is banned. We just saw Dorado. It's hard to really kind of anticipate here. Honestly, I think that if Mean Greens are picking, they may want to try to get something. No,
they're not.
If they pick in the future. If they pick in the future, they're going to want to go something like Anubis. I think that their snipers were causing kind of a little bit of distress to Perfection. And similarly, no. I don't think Perfection should pick Anubis. And they're going to pick Ilios. I don't know how much I agree with that, considering that.
I mean, I don't think they have many other choices, right? Because it's what other hybrid map is there in the pool? It's Hollywood, which is good with the bunker and DPS on the first point. Then there is Anubis, like you said, strong map for Mean Green. And then there's Ilios. Like, all of them have these options for these DPS picks. So banning out Eichenwald, which is out of those 4 maps probably the strongest GOATS map in a lot of ways, I think that was like a very good move for Mean Green. So Mercy is going to be saved here, but Wrecking Ball is going to be banned. And that's pretty big for a team that's been running all these DPS comps. But is Ball really that impactful on Ilios?
It's going to be tough to say. I like to say that Ilios really kind of has 3 distinct play styles. The heavy long-range Ruins style, or the sniping style play style on Ruins. The very crowd control-based play style on Well. And then perhaps the more standard kind of play style when it comes to Lighthouse. You can still see... I would say that Lighthouse is more inclined to the most variety. But I don't know if you'd
I
necessarily
don't know.
see a whole lot of Wrecking Ball for it.
No.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think Wrecking Ball is one of the harder heroes to run this map. Like in Well, you just have to watch out for the well too much. Lighthouse, you have the cliffs, and it's like a very enclosed area where you often fight. And then on Ruins, it's just the sightlines are so long that they see you coming from a mile away. So the CC doesn't really matter there as well. So I would say that this is not the strongest Wrecking Ball map. But that being said, they could go for like a Winston Diva here, maybe something with an Orisa, which it looks like they're gonna run out on. I don't know. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen here because we do see the 3-3 coming out again for the side of I just forgot their name somehow. For Perfection. There we go. Yes. Yeah, Perfection's gonna run out with the Zenyatta this time. No Ana. Obviously, there's Divas on the field possibly, so they're waiting for that. They're gonna use a solo tank Orisa, which some have said is actually a stronger pick with DPS.
It's peculiar to me because you see the Orisa, you think that's a very stationary hero, and I look at the players that the characters they're playing with. They all seem very sporadic, very scattered, and very long range. Yeah, the Hanzo can play with the Orisa, but that feels like about it.
Orisa may be acting like a little bit of an anchor here, but Nick actually going to be the one going down. That multi-angle DPS is just doing so much damage. Fierce Surge manages to fall off the map somehow, though. So that's going to help help Perfection out a little bit. They cap the point as well. The Captain Carl is going down to Mixie, and it looks like a very strong first hold, but Agodoa going down opens them up to so much damage. It's only going to be the Diva and the Zarya being able to deny a little bit, but Executor, Mixie, I mean, there's just a lot going on. Joe and Executor are doing a very nice cliff dance. Already have the barrage up. Do take down the Zarya. Nick, meanwhile, coming back with a flail here. So very, very scrappy fight. It was exactly what the DPS won. They'll be able to split them up. Igodogo going down, coming back on the Winston. BG1 out of the mech and down. Epic Gamer and Joe both being booped up by Magic Ball. But meanwhile, Nick is just smacking around. And all the while, percentage keeps ticking up. Magic Ball finally going to be the last one on the point. And it looks like it's going to be able to get flipped here. And finally, they do get it over 43% here. The fight is still not over.
Yeah, that was a very beefy or a very beefy hold from Perfection. They're going to be doing a little bit of pullback. It looks like they learned. They don't want to continue to.
They can't do that again, though.
Shoelaces.
Like, they can't go just walk into the point and do that again, though, because they don't have the Reinhardt anymore.
Yeah, and that Orisa, now that she's able to get nestled in onto the point, which it looks like they're actually going to be getting a little bit more aggressive than just standing on point with Orisa. And I can't say I disagree with it. If you have the chokes, you might as well try to hold up there, prevent the flow of opponents from going through.
Me Big Brain has switched over to the Widow now to try and counter Executor a little bit, but is actually getting taken down very low himself, and no kills coming out of that interaction, but they are trying to do a lot. Magic Executor actually going a bit too low to the ground, will actually fall off the cliffs into the harbor of Ilios next to the lighthouse. That's a nice EMP coming out with a Dragon follow-up. Will they get any kills from it? Doesn't look like it, and it's actually going to be Epic Gamer, Captain Carlos going down themselves. McDaniels falling out, and while they are still ticking up a little bit in percent, this point is looking to go over to Perfection.
Yeah, Joe attempted to go for that res, but I believe they got booped by Magic Mate. So that's going to be some really good body camping coming out from that Lucio player. And now McDaniel's not going to be choosing to stay on that Orisa. We're going to be seeing a swap onto the 3-3. But as we talk about a lot when it comes to switching on late, they're not going to have a whole lot of ult charge. Everybody's going to be hopping onto a new character. They're going to have to go against 3 heroes with ults. They're going to be going against Coalescence, the Primal, and the Diva Bomb. That's a lot of different angles to have to worry about. The Primal can be dangerous here with the massive knockback.
But Agodogo getting antied, getting charged away. They do get the kill on Joe and the boop kill on the Captain Carlos. Magic Mate Ball has just been booping everyone everywhere all day long. And it's been such a strong hold here already. And they do build up quite a few ultimates here on the defense. So they will probably be able to, with those support ults and that infra size, be able to sustain a little bit. But Me Big Brain, with all those shields, is he actually going to be able to get some value out of this Widow pick still?
It depends on how tightly they play around this shield. A definite early shot can open things up, as we saw McDaniels taking a big
Captain
hit.
Carlos, that ball just captures him, and another one on Fierce Surge. They just couldn't get in time with enough health and get finished off here. One last bullet to the brain from Magic Brain. Me Big Brain actually, and Executor last to fall, and that's going to be the first point going over to Perfection here. So looking good again. Started well on Lijiang Tower, of course, but was this the point that they were most likely to win?
Oof, that's kind of tough to say.
Wrote it well now. This is the you said it. This is the Orisa map, right?
This is the Orisa map, but they're not having to. They're not going to have to play as an aggressive Orisa style as you might expect. I'd be surprised PG1 going to be hopping onto that hog as I anticipated. I kind of liked PG1 on the hog, but Agadogo on the Orisa's kind of like a balancing act between the two. It's very tough, and at least right out of the gate, we're not going to be seeing the hog combo from the other end of the field.
They're going for that sort of Hanamura attack-esque type composition where they're going to use the Baptiste and the hog and the Bastion, the Orisa. But Nick just getting sniped out straight away. That's not going to be good for them because they still have to set up this Bastion. They set up the shield, and now they know the Bastion's there. Nice boop! PG in the well. They do get Executor, but that's likely not going to be enough because PG was going to do a lot of zoning. Nice attack here so far from the side of the Mean Green, but they're not going to be able to get much footing onto the point because that Bastion is going to be shooting around. There's so much shield pressure coming out from him already.
Yeah, there's a lot of shield pressure, but the DPS from the side of Mean Green are really dancing, trying not to get caught in those lines of sight. And they're really going to have to rely on PG1 to fish out those kills, aside from just standing behind the shield.
Executor just gets the 2k straight away, both supports out of it, and the Orisa also gone. They're not going to be able to sustain through this, so the point is going to flip. Only 25%. That's actually not something you're going to be disappointed about if that wins you the fight in the end.
Yeah, Perfection probably like to have held on to that just a little bit longer, but these DPS comps are, kind of a...
No more Bastion as well. He's out.
Yeah, Me Big Brain going to be going on, perhaps trying to deal with that Pharah. I can't say I blame that Pharah, able to put down such a thick swath of damage that it's not entirely unreasonable. You want somebody handmade to counter, but they're going to have to watch out for Captain Carlos, who can absolutely cause a giant thorn in the side of Me Big Brain.
That's it, right? They have two flankers and a Widow and a Pharah, and then Nick does take down Executor. Is the rest going to be able to come in? Doesn't look like it, but doesn't have to if Nick just goes down to Epic Gamer as a result. Nick's been doing a lot of work on that Hanzo. They do definitely need to put some pressure on him. It's now going to be Me Big Brain going over to the side, not being able to take out the Epic Gamer duel, but finally Nick does take out that arrow into the face. They're still going to hold on to the point here, though, for a little bit, because they have that Orisa set up, and they can just stand behind the shield all day long if they want to. PG1 missing the hook, and does look like Fierce Surge is going to go down to that, to Mixie somehow, the Baptiste. Me Big Brain going to follow up with that boop on Agadogo. Could be huge. Executor following up on Magic 8 Ball. PG1 also going down, so a lot of beef going off of the point there, but Nick going aggressive. This is one of those scrappy fights, and it looks like they're very well at home there on the side of Mean Green to play in those fights.
Yeah, that is so disappointing. Perfection looked really good. They looked like they were taking, they were
taking
get
things, it. I really
they
thought
were taking
so.
things methodically, but then they just kind of got a little too far ahead of themselves. Couldn't quite follow up. The kills just did not line up for them. As soon as Agadogo fell down, that was a brutal piece to miss in the puzzle.
Last fight's gonna come in now, and they have to walk through all this spam, sort of this opposite situation. Immediately PG1 gets taken out. Will they be able to make it to the point 1%? No, they don't touch it because the barrage took down the ones that could.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. This means that this map is going to come down to ruins, which, if we're talking about historically, I think Mean Greens have a little bit of an edge in this one. I think.
Yeah, and it's not just that, right? It's if Mean Greens manage to win out on this point, they win the map. There's only 2 maps left in the pool, so they'll be able to ban out the map that they don't want to play and effectively pick the next one, which is a very powerful tool to have, obviously. So, are we gonna be seeing? The series could be decided by this point regardless of who wins it. Either we see the win for Perfection and then it's just the series is over. It's 3-1.
Yeah. Or
we see the win come out here for Mean Green and then the series could be over just by default because they get to pick the next map as well as save a hero. It's an interesting thing, but we'll see what happens here. They're going to come out with DPS versus the floats.
Yeah, and again, the DPS might be looking a little bit strong. McDaniels, though, gonna have to be playing carefully.
Oh, and he's not careful enough. Does get taken out by PG1. Was a little bit too deep without the resources, but Agodogo gets traded. So they're actually even, and there is a res on the side of Mean Green, so they have the resources to bring people back into the fight. They're not going to be able to do so just yet, but that's still an extra member they could potentially leverage. With that Winston gone, a lot of damage mitigation gone, all the poke is going to come out, and they beat me Big Brain, getting taken out by Epic Gamer. Those two have been dueling all day long, and now it's going to be a lot of pressure, even more so. And PG1 taking a lot brunt off that damage, is almost demaxed, does get demaxed. That's the Matrix gone. That should eventually mean the fight win the point flip here for Mean Green, but they're definitely taking a little bit longer than they did on Well.
Yeah, it's gonna be all right if you're Perfection, but you need to make sure that you can actually win one of the next coming fights, because it's looking tough. They're doing their best to stagger because they know that this is where they have the opportunity to win the most ult charge. But really, this Diva Bomb needs to change things up a little bit.
That was such a nice boop. Magic Maid Ball booping actually back into the self-destruct. Does manage to get him, but there's a nice EMP. Magic Maid Ball finally taken out. And now we're going to see if they can finally keep the point. No, it's still taken up. They're staggering out. They will finally be able to get it here eventually, but it's taken them so long to do so.
Yeah, and this is where we start to see the strengths of those triple comps come out. They are so good at stalling. Obviously, the Winston perhaps not as good as stalling as the Reinhardt, but can just do a lot of damage in a wide area. It's obviously the trades up you see, but me, Big Brain, going to be switching here. I don't think it's any surprise as to why. Epic Gamer been getting a lot of value. They may just be trying to contest here, but again, we talked about it last time. That Sombra going to probably be a thorn in the side of me, Big Brain.
They do need to deal with him though, because Executor doesn't have that much cover to work with on this map. So Executor is gonna try and spam from ground level, not flying in the air this time around. And McDonald's just chasing down PG1. So PG1 a little bit deep will be able to get out with the help of Magic 8 Ball. And PG1 actually taking down Executor, so no Widow needed in that situation. And they're gonna almost cap the point back. There's 42% taken up here for Mean Green, so they need to hold on for a little bit longer. Epic Gamer gets the 2 shots on 2 of the supports. Those are huge because Magic Maid Ball had that beat huge. They do lose the point here for a little bit, but it does look like they are in a position to win that fight back and get the point fairly quickly.
Yeah, they're not going to be too upset about losing that. They still are going to be holding the point in the long run. And they're going to have a few ults up. They're going to have that Rocket Barrage. They're going to have that Primal Rage. And I think the Primal Rage is going to be so good against Perfection, because Perfection is one of those teams that does not seem to handle the chaos too well. And Primal Rage is perhaps one of the best ults for just causing that chaos, really disorienting people and knocking them in places they don't want.
And that's just been Mean Green's MO, just all these guys, working as one organism in chaos, and it works so well for them because it looks like chaos, but they know what they're doing. And now we see McDonald's not going too far this time. It's actually Agodogo that gets taken out by the barrage. Cam Carlos, we're going to get out with his life. No, Executor not so lucky, we actually kill himself. Don't think that Res will be able to come out. I think he flew a little bit too low to the ground once again, but Epic Gamer gets me Big Brain, and this looks like a very good fight here for Mean Green nonetheless. This could be the last fight of the map, because it's 96% and counting. And the EMP, it takes out the sound barrier. That was the one ultimate they really could have used there on the side of Perfection, and they just lose it because it just gets denied. And we see Mixie on the point trying to hold on to it, but it's just going to be the attackers. No, it's actually they're pulling it back here. They're getting 3 of the DPS out. Only Executor Joe and McDonald's left. They do cap the point here, but it took them so much, and now they will only have the Coalescence.
Yeah, and it feels like I could just see Perfection trying to hold the steering wheel of their team ship so steady right now. They were trying so hard not to break, not to just scatter and get into that chaotic thing again.
Here goes Goats.
And yeah, we are going to be seeing the triple, but Mixie going to be having that Coalescence up, a lot of healing and damage to really kind of prolong that fight just a little bit. A PG1 getting slapped might be crucial, though. They might try to collapse on that.
It could be big. They have a free anti-nade if they want it, and they do use it. Magic 8 Ball does get hit by it, but McDonald's actually goes down. Cam Carlos goes down. The Coalescence being huge, as you said, and now it could actually just, that could be the map. This could be it. Everyone just falling, and I don't think they're going to be able to actually get this back. They don't have any ultimates to work with because they just switched Joe almost to the nano. It's not going to be enough, and it's actually going to be Perfection winning this one out, and that That almost feels like an anticlimax because it looked like they almost had it, Mean Green.
Yeah, that was one of those situations where, like, the last fight didn't determine the win. It was the fight before the last fight. Because really, if Perfection had wavered even a little bit and the chaos had started to come through for their team, Mean Green would have capitalized upon it. They would have eaten them alive, but they managed to hold it through that Sombra EMP, really buckled down. And then the next point, and then the next cap was easy. Despite the D.Va getting slept, we just saw Agadogo just laser everybody when they dropped down, and they didn't know what to do. And that Coalescence came through on top, adding so much more damage and healing that it was a great last fight, but an even better preceding fight.
Yeah, and I gotta give it to him though. Magic 8Ball, so much work on that Lucio. I think if anyone is gonna put on the carry backpack, that was definitely him. But we're unfortunately not getting an interview with Magic 8Ball. In fact, instead we will have PG1 in here. And I don't know, Waltham. I think you might have some words to mingle with that person.
Yeah, I do. But real quick, gotta send it out to the people at home because we didn't do this all game, I don't think. Make sure while we're doing this interview, you guys vote in the Twitch panel below. Let us know who you think the MVP of the game was. I want to be putting those votes in. But while we're letting you folks at home do that, we have PG1 coming in with us. PG1, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I mean, it was a little scary there after the first map we lost, and then we lost another map on the Koth. I was kind of getting worried there for a second that maybe a reverse sweep was on hand or was on deck, but we pulled through on the third map that was on Koth, so feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that was a very intense Ruins map on Ilios. I want to ask you guys. I guess I'd rather want to ask you about it since you're fresh off of that kind of map play. It seemed like you guys were kind of getting carried away in the chaos in the sub maps and the map and Dorado leading up to that. And then there was a big Sombra EMP that happened.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But you guys managed to buckle down. Like it was. You buckled down. You didn't get scattered. You didn't get scared like in the previous games, and you kind of turned it around. Was there like a calm that was going on, like, hey, they have EMP, be prepared for this, or was it just like as soon as that EMP hit, you all kind of locked in?
It wasn't so much the EMP. It was just that we knew that their quad was like way better than ours, right? That we couldn't keep up with them, and we knew as soon as we banned the ball, like that on the second map, as long as after we lost the well point, which we kind of like expected because we couldn't really play the DPS at the same level they could. So after we lost on the well, we knew that they couldn't run ball on the last map. So we kind of just knew that if we just blow up the Winston, no matter what happens, we're still going to win that map, the third one, because our comp was just like better than theirs.
That makes sense.
I wasn't really worried about the EMP as much and like the Sombra. The only person that was like really like making it life difficult was probably the Pharah. She never seemed, no matter how much DM I had, it never seemed like enough, and she just constantly was just rocket barraging us for free.
Yeah, I imagine it's tough to go up against that when you have so many other DPS to kind of you're spinning a lot of plates, I guess, as a D.Va. But we talked about it a little bit. It seems like historically Agadogo is much more comfortable on that Rhine, or they have more playtime on the Rhine.
Yeah,
and we saw that come through with the hero saves. Is there any reason you guys kind of went through the save of the Rhine? Because a lot of times that's not a huge ban option.
All right, well, we knew our Ryan, all right, regardless of his rank, you know, he's really good at Ryan Agadogo. We knew that for sure coming into this match. We knew our quad and his ball were rough, right? His race is fine. So we knew that as long as we had Reinhardt like on certain maps, it was for sure like a for sure win because our goats was just so much better than enemy teams. But on the maps where we couldn't play goats and we just get like, especially with the hero ban, like I forgot what hero ban it was, where we kind of were like forced. Oh, the D.Va ban. Yeah. We were forced into like that weird wonky comp. That's where it kind of. That's why I think we lost that map. It was because of the lack of the lack of D.Va and the inability to play Reinhardt.
Yeah, it seemed a little tough to have that Sombra kind of floating out there. And again, we saw that kind of.
I know what EMP you're referring to on Dorado, right? The last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving forward, like, well, I guess let me ask you about your team's dynamic. Are you guys here to be super competitive? Are you here for just a little bit of tournament experience? Are you here for some consistent games against opposing teams? Are you here to like absolutely crush it and try to sweaty try hard your way through the tournament? Why would you say your team's here?
I'd honestly say probably all three. Okay, I'll be honest. Before this match in scrims, we've been getting absolutely bodied, right? Like just completely destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But it finally clicked. Like today, I noticed like we actually were making good calls. Everything was going how it should have been going in scrims. We cashed out our scrim bucks. So we didn't have many bucks, but we cashed them out nonetheless. So when we playing today and we're playing the Goats v Goats mirror, like I could just tell that our Goats had finally improved. But then because of the way the tournaments like get organized with the hero bans and the hero protects,
right?
Obviously, we couldn't play Goats on every map, so there were our weak points were pretty evident, you know. So that was unfortunate in terms of that because it really exposed. Like we knew it was bad, but we didn't know it was that bad.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. Yeah.
But in terms of experience, we just want to like try the tournament as a good practice opportunity.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess along that line, do you guys think that you'll be practicing more of your quad DPS, or are you gonna kind of think about
we're just gonna start protecting
down?
Diva. No, we're just protecting Diva from here on out. I think we'll be fine if we just protect Diva. We keep on Reinhardt, and then we're good. I think we'll be really solid.
Fantastic. Man, did you have any questions?
I mean, I love that strat coming out on Hanamura attack. I don't know if that's something you've practiced before or whether
we completely. Someone was like, "Hey, what if we try this?" And it was like, "All right, let's try it."
Yeah,
and it worked out pretty well.
It's not something that I've not seen before, but it was just very cool that you saw it, and especially the way that you're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna only charge up the Baptisto. That's all we need." And then we just damage through, and they won't have anything, so we just win. And it worked out because like I saw it coming, but I was still like, it could still backfire. This could not work. But like I said, I've seen it in the past.
It could have. The only problem that I think is that how fast the enemy team adapted. They started noticing it, but we're already at like 92% by the time they stopped shooting us, and it was already too late for them at that point. But for the most part, like the strategy was just like on the fly idea that just completely worked out surprisingly.
Did it come a little bit from those olden days where teams would just like on Anubis, for instance, just keep standing at the choke until they had like Valkyrie up and stuff, or?
No, it's just someone was like, "Hey, I tried this in one of my scrim games. We should try this out." And we're like, "Okay, this sounds good." So that's exactly what we did.
I mean, very nicely done. Again, I mean, it's a hard strat to break. Sometimes you see teams being full held with that stuff. So nicely done. Yeah, that's all for me as well, Wolfen. So I guess all that's left to do is we'll tell you, well, congrats once again. Very good luck against Metamorphic next game. They are a Brawl veteran, so there is some footage on it if you want to scout it. But who's going to be the MVP? That's the only question we have left. Before we announce that, we're going to let you do some shout-outs. Shout-outs, insults, just any questions, any weird statement you want to make, give them to us.
All right. What was it? The Zarya on the enemy team?
Yeah.
He was a good player, but their Sombra was trash, all right? That guy, oh my god, all right? You know what? He might have EMP'd more than me, and I understand that, all right? But I beat him in the neutral, you know what I mean? Like, I had more health packs hacked, and I might have not EMP'd like almost anyone, and I might have lost our team that third map, but it's okay. I was a better player at the end of the day. So.
If these were old school Sombra rules where health packs gave old charge, different story.
Completely different story.
All right.
Well, you know what? The viewers agree with you because you did actually get the MVP win, PG1. Congrats on that one. Yeah, I mean, viewers agree. I don't know how many votes we got. I said if we don't get 100, I'll just keep doing dumb segues into the MVP plug. But we'll see that. We'll look back at the footage for that one. But yeah, thanks for coming in. Good luck in the rest of the tournaments, obviously. And yeah, go and enjoy the win with the team.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it looks like we are just about done here for this series and for tonight. So on behalf of all of us at the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure if you liked what you see and you're not already following us, hit that follow button. Make sure you keep up to date with all these teams and their progress throughout the tournament. We're going to be looking forward. We are going to be seeing both these teams again, if I'm not mistaken, through the main and losers bracket moving forward.
Of course. Yeah, not down out just yet.
Yeah, definitely not. We will be seeing Mean Green back into the action again in just a few more days. But for your casting entertainment, I've been Sir Waltham. You can catch me online, Twitch or Twitter at Sir Waltham. And on the other side of the table, Mana Class.
Yeah, it was me, Mana Class OW. I've got a brand new rainbow logo, so it's definitely more flashy to check out my Twitter now. But more importantly, I want you guys to follow the Watchers on Twitter. The Watchers OW, Twitter, Twitch, and DLive. Come get it. Come follow us there. See when we're live. See when we're doing things. Maybe you get inspired. You start your own team. Get in here. So we'll see you next season. Like it's all possible, and obviously tell everyone about it because we definitely need to get those MVP vote numbers up, guys. I'm not kidding about it. We need it. It doesn't give us money, but it gives the players recognition, and that's what we're all about.
What Mana Class is basically saying is those are rookie numbers. Got to get them up.
Definitely, yeah. And I don't care if you skip leg day for it, because you can. I don't mind it as long as your wrist action is okay. Just keep clicking that button. Don't donate bits necessarily for it. I mean, I'm not gonna make you spend money on MVP votes, but if you could, it's also always possible.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to be wrapping it up here for tonight. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you guys have a great night and stay safe out there. Take care, everybody.